imitate. Non-violent. Sometimes I wish I would've went to college. Frown proudly. Cause where I'm from, they hate you when you smiling. Your faith should be your gun. You can't leave home without it. The children being grown, cause all the parents acting childish. You show them your reality, I bet they doubt it. You tell them all about your dreams, just when they out it. Your own blood, ain't no family no more. They do you badly for sure. You try to patch up your soul, Lord knows you on a mission to show him you so submissive. The prayer said it's silence, you know the devil can hear him, pay attention. Know the wars within, how much time do you spend? Try to balance your zen, then again, losses is lessons. You tell me you trying to win, we know about saving money. You tell me you trying to spend that blood on it. Sweat, tears, you put that love on it. Your best years was just a dumb moment. You tired of going hungry, can't deal with fake making your life lonely. Your lack of faith that left your soul boning. But you gon' work and you gon' strive, do what it takes to survive. What is truth, what is a lie? You know that war's inside. Some get draped into the fake, they don't know what to decide. Wrong choice meet your demise, keep that between you and I. You realize some people you gon' let go, you visualize. The things you need to feed your soul is on the rise. They not gon' wanna let you go, but it's alright. It's cool to bury what's gon' grow. Went from wrong to the right and to the dark to the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. Gotta hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. From wrong to the right and to the dark from the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. You just hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me. Yeah, I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me. Yeah.
Yeah, don't be stressing on the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. Just keep going and keep your faith, so you can.
What up, everybody? You on here? I don't know, my laptop just glitched out for a second, but I'm back with it, y'all. What it do? It's your boy Humble Mystic in the building today. And today we're going to be getting into why the Bible is not a scientific or historical source. Now, a couple people, I talked to a couple Hebrew Israelites today, or just a couple Bible believers today, and they were trying their damnness to convince me that their book, because they believe in their book, is a historical and scientific reliable source. And earlier today I was on my home planet Bigo, and I'm chopping it up and we getting into the Bible and things of that nature. And we get into the doublets of the Bible, right? Why do the Bible got doublets? If the Bible is really a book that's inspired by a divine being who know all, who sees all, who controls all, right? Then why would he give a man by the name of Moses damn near 2 counts of every other story in a book? These are things we have to understand logically, right? So we're gonna get into that today. I was talking to another brother, right? And he was getting into why he think it was a valid source, and it's all go based on belief. And I have to explain to these people that you can't put faith and belief above truth and facts. Like, it don't work that way. Definitely if you are looking for, like a lot of these brothers and sisters say, we're looking for the truth. Then if you're looking for the truth, you have to stand unbiased in your search for the truth. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're gonna get into here today. I'm gonna share my screen a little bit and we're gonna get into it. I shared the screen, I shared the link in the comments, y'all. Come on up here, y'all. But so I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So let's get into this, bro. What is a literary device? So before I even get into this, I want y'all to understand why. I want y'all to understand why I personally don't think the Bible is a scientific or historical source. Number one, the primary reason for me personally is the fact that it got a whole lot of literary devices in it, right? Now, when you are a person that is studying these things, let me count. But when you're a person studying these things, right, you have to, again, study it from an unbiased point of view. And when you study it from an unbiased point of view, this book that y'all call the Holy Bible, it's a lot wrong in here, right? And so we're gonna get into some of these things that is wrong in the Bible, right? We went over the textual doublets earlier, right? I went over earlier today. We was talking about the story of Jacob, right? The story of Joseph and things of that nature. I want to get down here though to the real meat of the matter. Where is it? National mythography. This right here is important. National mythography. Let's read this, y'all. National mythography is an academic term used to describe the process and the literary product of crafting a nation's identity through stories that blend history, legend, and symbolism. So, again, this is one of my major issues with the Bible when people say that this is a historical book and this is a scientific book, right? When you say that this is a historical book, then you are ignoring the legends and the symbolism that's been put in this book, right? In scholarship, particularly within ancient Near Eastern studies and biblical criticism, myth does not mean a lie. Instead, national mythography is a foundational narrative that's a people use to explain who they are, where they came from, and why they have the right to exist or hold specific land. So, when we're dealing in particularly the Bible, we're dealing with the Hebrews, right? And so what it's saying is, according to the Bible, this is not a book that is telling a historical timestamp, but it's a book that is explaining who these people are, where they came from, and why they exist. Right? That's totally different than a historical time book, right? That keep accurate historical stories, right? But let's get into this. This is deep. This is deep, right? I want to get into the meat and potatoes of all of this. Hold on, let me make sure ain't nobody trying to come up first. All right, yeah, ain't nobody trying to come up. So yeah, I want to get into the meat and potatoes of all of this. Because there's two words that I feel like we need to understand and really do our own little research. We gonna get into it today. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right, bang. Nope, that's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for this word right here. Historiographical. right? Now, historiography. Now, why is this word so important? Right? Because, and I want to see if I already got what it means. All right. So we're going to figure out what this word means really fast. With the agenda and how the specific story has been told at a time, with the author's agenda and academic understanding. Historiography is the key to distinguishing between objective facts and national mythography, right? So here, I want to see if it's going to get into how in academia, historiography Bible. When apply historiography analysis to the Bible, we see it as a literary construction rather than a raw record. Okay, bang. This is important right here, right? When we apply this to the Bible, this analysis to the Bible, we see it as a literary construction rather than a raw record. The authors don't the style official records to give their theological message scholastic authority. So what happens is they give you things like timelines. They give you things like what is it called? Genealogies. And what they'll do for these false genealogies is they'll throw a couple of real kings in there, and they'll say, see, because this real king is here, this genealogy must be true. You see what I'm saying? And no, that's not how this works. Let's get into it. Let me make sure nobody trying to come up because I can't see up here. What's up? What's up? Get in. Feel free to come up here. Get in. Feel free to come up here, Brody. Yes. Give me a second, y'all. Yes. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. Children. But yeah, so literary devices, we have to understand literary devices because this is important to understanding why the Bible is not a historical or a scientific valid source, right? So when people go and they go, well, I believe this because the Bible told me so. Okay, you need a little more to go on than just the Bible told you so. You see what I'm saying? And when dealing with the Bible, right? And I always tell people this: I don't have an issue with people believing in this book. I don't have a people with people reading this book, but you can't bring this book. And I'm still looking for what's called, but you can't bring this book to an academic arena and think that it's going to hold up. Let's look at some of the issues that we find in the book, right? It say the Joshua and the sun scientifically invalid. It's saying Joshua 10, the text describes a battle where Joshua commands the sun and the moon to stand still so Israel could finish their victory. The etymology. The writer is proving a divine explanation for a perceived astronomical event or a specific victory, right? So I want to go back so we can break down what this word means. Hold on. Because I got it in here. It's just That's that. Um, where is it? I know I had it in here. No, that's crazy, bro. I hate researching stuff and then I can't find it once I research it. What it do, brother A1? What it do, brother A1? But yeah, I hate researching stuff and then I can't find what I'm looking for after I research it. That is crazy. But actually, I yes. What is etymology? Let's figure this out. All right, let's get into it. The theological mythological etymology in literature and ancient texts and etymological myth is just so stories is it's a narrative created to explain a physical reality or social custom whose actual origin has been forgotten or is unknown. How it worked. You start with an observation, e.g., why is there a rainbow? Or why do we speak different languages? And you create a story to provide a meaningful cause, the God. It is to provide a scientific explanation. It is not. It isn't to provide a scientific explanation, but to provide a cultural, spiritual meaning for natural phenomena. A biblical example, the story of Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt, Genesis 19. This is a classical etymological narrative likely created to explain the preservance of unusual human-shaped salt formations near the Dead Sea. That's crazy. Stuff like that, bro. Right? So we often talk a lot about Sodom and Gomorrah. And we talk about, oh, well, you say God, don't like homosexual. Well, what did he do with Sodom and Gomorrah? What did he do with Sodom and Gomorrah? But then we realize, well, Sodom and Gomorrah not even a real event. Is just a story to explain why the pillars of salt in the Dead Sea look like humans. Can't tell a Hebrew Israelite that. No, Sodom was real. Sodom was real. But that's why we get into it bring me back to the conversation I was having earlier. We got a little bit into extraterrestrials, right? Angels and things of that nature. And the brother was saying that angels are extraterrestrials because they're not from this dimensional being. And I asked the brother, have you ever seen an angel? And he said, yeah, but not here on earth. Like, bro, these type of topics be crazy, bro. These type of topics be crazy to cover for me. Only because honestly, it's common sense, bro. It's for real. It's common sense. All we gotta do is look this stuff up, man. It ain't that hard to do, right? Actually, brother A1 had a great presentation the other day. He was talking about the King James homosexuality thing, and hey, his whole presentation, he was just looking at these things. Oh yeah, well, yeah, we know about this. Well, let's get into that. Well, we know about this. Let's get into that. When you do your due diligence to really look this stuff up, then it makes sense on why people are taking a more logical approach to a lot of these scenarios, and we just not sitting back talking about why we believe this stuff to be true. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there who really is weird, bro. They don't like this live, Lubis, this live. So they don't like academic sources, right? Let me stop sharing this real fast. They
Yeah,
don't
pull
like
up the Lubis. You don't never pull up and chop it with us, man. Come hang out for a little
oh
bit. Sit
yeah,
on the
pull up,
panel.
pull up, pull up.
You don't even got to talk, Just
Mhm.
come hang out.
But
You
I
be
ain't
over
even
there with all the wild ones. I don't know. You be
I
hanging
ain't
out
seen
with them. We ain't
A1.
as wild as the other pages. My bad. Go ahead, homie.
No, you good. I was just saying I look, I was just looking through this damn thing. Yeah, I didn't even see you up on the panel. What it do, what it do. But no, it's just again, man, just I don't mind y'all talking about the Bible, bro, but just understand this is not a historical book. You see what I'm saying? This is not a scientific book. This is like, and so when people start talking about Abraham, if he was a real person, I got into it today with a brother. The brother going to tell me, oh, I could prove Abraham really existed. Please do. Please let's set this up because I want to see this shit. You feel me? Just because it's like, yo, like we know that's not a historical figure a lot. You see what I'm saying? Melchizedek. And it's just like, and the reason that's such a important, the reason that's so important, because I know I do talk to a lot of people, they be like, well, Humble, why are you always getting on to these people are not historical or things of that nature? Because if these people are not historical, then that mean that everything that y'all are fighting to defend, I'm talking to the Hebrew Israelites here, is false. That mean the whole Exodus, right? The rise of Jerusalem, all the kings, all those stories are made up. You see what I'm saying? But y'all can't accept that because y'all got to keep the lie going. You know, that's the thing with Kazad. You know, my brother Kazad. That's a good brother right there. You know, but he got to keep a lie going. And so he can't accept the Bronze Age collapse as actual history. Because if the Bronze Age collapse is actual history, then that means that the history that he read from his Bible is false. And he refused to accept that. You know? All the Hebrew Israelites refuse to accept that. But now there's some Hebrew Israelites, yo, you gotta watch them because they tricky. Some Hebrew Israelites will come up here and they'll tell you everything the white man did to the Bible and how the white man had corrupted the Bible and what the white man added in the text and took out the text and this, that, and the third, right? They'll tell you that. But then they'll turn right around and tell you that there's not a contradiction in this book. There's not a lie in this book. There's nothing that leads you astray in this book. This book is for all black people. Like, how do you tell us the truth and turn around and tell us that this book is for us? I don't understand that, you know? And the way people try to justify it is they say, oh, well, this is a historically accurate book. This is a scientific book. You can't prove nothing in the book to be false. It's like, well, can you prove anything in a book to be true? You know? Hey, yo, you is funny. But yeah, man. Where everybody at? Where everybody at, man? Why ain't nobody outside? Where Roy Chess at? This Roy Chess topic right here. Also, for y'all scientists, let me cam up when I say this. For y'all scientists that try to hide behind, or for y'all religious people who try to hide behind science, right? To try to disguise, where you stand on all these subject matters. Y'all can't hide from me. I see y'all. You see what I'm saying, man? Y'all better ask about me. I see y'all. Ask the Roy Chesses of the world. I know what y'all be up to. Also, what's his name on Facebook? What's his name on YouTube? A1. Darkness. Is that his name?
Dwayne.
Yeah, Dwayne. But I think his name Darkness on Facebook. I'm on YouTube.
No,
We
his name
most definitely
Dwayne on
gotta have that
Facebook. He
sit
got a
down,
government
Brody.
name as his Facebook. Darkness is an alias.
Yeah,
It might be that in the group chat. You know how you can set your nickname.
yeah. No, his name Dwayne in the group chat.
Yeah, he got his full government DH on that motherfucker.
How do you feel about people trying to use the Bible as a historical source? Say one.
I think it's absurd. It's not a history book. Why would we do that? It's a mythological book that has some history. It's almost like using Spider-Man as a history book because they got Spider-Man with Obama on the cover. You seen the Obama Spider-Man book?
Yeah.
Now, can we now use this as a history book because it has some things that were accurate to history? I don't think so.
Why? Was Peter Parker now a real superhero because that nigga lived in New York? You know, what about,
like, it's historically accurate? New York was a city in America. Obama was the president there. What do you mean? Like, this is what they do with the Bible.
That's exactly what they do with the Bible.
Like, well, what about the fictional narrative? Like, you're forgetting that. Well, they believe it's real, so
yeah.
Let me pull up this comic book.
And it goes back to what it do, Cosmo.
Blessed up. Peace to the family, man. Peace to the family. Y'all talking about some hot stuff this morning. What's popping this evening, I should say.
Oh, yeah. We talking about this not being the Bible not being a history book. Stop that, man.
I'm going to say if the Bible is a history book, so are a lot of these comics. A lot of these sci-fis you watch are also science. Like, we could call them science. Then
hey,
they got science in
it. Cosmo.
Yeah.
The Bible is a history book or a scientific book. Then shouldn't we consider the Book of Owaspi a history book or a science literacy book?
Yeah. See, the thing about the difference between the two is that Owaspi got actual provable information, whereas the Bible is more like a Shakespearean document where it's dealing with the Romeo, where art thou, Romeo type energy. You know, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for actual provable evidence that we can read in the text and then look out in the reality and point at it. That's the difference between Bible and the O.
Well, let's get into this. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is the Bible historically accurate? The historical accuracy of the Bible is a subject of ongoing debate with consensus varying by section. So even the consensus is back and forth. No. The consensus is saying no, not every section of this is historically accurate. So I don't get it. Your history book needs to be historically accurate for you to consider it a history book.
Look up look up historiography.
Got you. Right after let me read this paragraph. I just want to see if I'm gonna learn anything new in this. It is not considered a modern uniform history book, but rather a collection of ancient texts blending historical memory, or see, I want facts where it says memory. Because someone's memory could be subjective, but I digress.
Well, I guess they saying memory there because of the oral tradition. You know, we passing down oral tradition. That stuff wasn't written down.
Okay.
So the only way you gonna know what I know is if I remember what I know to tell you.
Game of telephone. Which I just think is the most absurd way for God to want to transmit his message, knowing how untrustworthy man is, you know. He regretted
Think about that really fast. Whole time out. Let's get a little philosophical with this thing now. Think about that. Here's an all-knowing God, an omnipotent God, right? He can do anything he wants, but yet he got to transmit his information orally from human to human instead of just implanting it into all humans so they can know.
Yeah, if you don't crack the sky and tell me himself, I'm not rocking with it. It's not valid to me. He got to come talk to me himself. I'm not doing this game of telephone. And I think as an all-knowing God, he should have knew that it was people who wasn't going to go for that and for logical reasonings. But what we deem the hell for that?
Right. Yeah.
I don't get that.
And so that's something else that hinders this religion, right? On one stance, you saying God is unknowing, and other stance, you saying that He just won't do stuff. And it's like, well, it's God. He can do, and then the excuse for that is, well, it's God. He can do whatever He want. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's a cop out.
if we're humans, mind you, our ways are not God's ways, which means that God think light years above us. But if we're human and we think in terms of survival and what's good and what's
moral, right?
Why wouldn't God protect that? I don't understand that.
Yeah, it don't make no sense.
He's outside
Only
of morals. That's what they'll say. I'm sorry, Cosmo. Go ahead.
no, you good. Right, but that's the idea. Like, oh, God can do it. If he want to execute a child, he could do that. What? No. See, because the difference is this: we can't be more morally correct than God, and if we are, then that means that your God is lower than your own intellectual capacity to figure out what's right and wrong.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's object. And see, the thing is, like you said, if God don't know something, it's a problem. Because he's supposed to know all things, comprehend every single thing, and whatever it is. So, in the Bible, we read God didn't. He had to come down to see where Adam was. Adam, where you at? You know what I'm saying?
That
like
bothers me too.
Man, there's parts in there where he had to come down to the Tower of Babel to see what the men, if they could build a tower. Like, what? How come you don't know this?
In Job, remember the devil done snuck up on him at the meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you don't even? And he asked the devil, "Where you been?"
Right?
Said,
why are you
walking to and from the earth or something? Like, bro, you don't even know what this nigga been doing.
Exactly, and that's
you not even keep your biggest enemy. You ain't even keeping tabs on him.
Tabs on him. He got more. You know where you at. You don't know where he at. That's crazy work. And then there was a point in the Torah where the Israelites couldn't. It said that they couldn't drive out the Egyptians or some people because they had chariots of iron. Like chariots of iron.
The Philistines, they couldn't drive the Philistines out in the lowlands because they had chariots of iron.
Yeah, like what? Your God failed because of some iron chariots. Didn't he make the iron that they made out? Come on, man. So that's what I'm saying. When you start looking at the character, the thing about to the creator gang, the thing that we had to bring out to everybody, to the world, is like, you got to check the character of the God. If your God is lacking in any way of knowing something or being able to defeat or overcome, bro, it's not the creator, period.
And my biggest saying, I say this all the time when people try to convert me to their thing, and I'll bring up these character flaws, the moral dilemmas. I'll be like, look, bro, I just don't worship homicidal deities. If that's your thing, more power to you.
Right.
Like, I can't do it.
Bro, not at all, bro. Like, no, I'm not worshiping a monster God that I consider. I can look at the text and say, based on the characters of this deity, bro, he ain't even my brother for real. You know what I'm saying? Because see, I understand God is just a title given to an angel who was once a mortal, just like us. So all gods is one-time mortal men and women. And I can respect all gods, right? If you rocking with our Father, but if you turn your back against our the Creator, then you're not even my bro for real.
Hey, listen.
That's who I was waiting on right there.
My man Gideon in the building. What it do?
My main man.
Hey, listen.
Shabbat shalom. What's going on?
Shalom. How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm good, man. I'm just listening, man. Sorry, I'm late for lunch, man. But this is crazy, man. And this why the conscious community is losing, man. Because for one, y'all let our brother Cosmo come up here and say out his face that the Book of Oaspi is more historical than the Bible, which the Bible is definitely a historical document, and it's also a scientific document. But I'll get to that later. But let me just show y'all why this conscious community just been taking L since VHS tapes. Say, Cosmo, name me one person in the Book of Oaspi that's corroborated by history, besides the dentist from Dakota, besides Marlboro. Okay, give me one period in time. Give me one period in time.
Wait, I'm trying to get your question correct. Name one person in Oaspi that corroborates with history.
That is corroborated by history, and all of that stuff that is talking about, all these fairies and
I'll name you one
different archangels and all this stuff, and kings from other places. Name one.
Let me answer your question direct. Yeshua.
See what I'm saying? See
Yeshua,
how they like to do spin-off
Nazareth.
TV shows? Let's not
Wait,
do
hold
no
on. Wait, no,
spin-offs.
wait, hold on.
Create your own show.
Before you get to talking, play. Look, you asked me
Don't
a
grab the
question.
Bible.
You wait, hold on.
Grab
You asked
something
me a
from
question.
Owaspy. But go
You
ahead.
asked me a question. All right, let me give you another one. Zarathustra. I'll give you another one. Iowata. I'll give you
Whoa,
another one.
time
Pump.
out. Time out.
Explain who is Iowata. Who is Iowata?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked who Iowata was, boy, because you need to know. Trust me, you're gonna be happy about this. So during the same time that Abraham was living over in Africa, teaching the light of the
So
Creator.
Abraham is real.
What?
So Abraham is a real person.
Wait, hold on. Why you interrupt me like a child when you ask me a
Well,
question?
I'm asking you. So you saying Abraham is real?
Correct. And he's an Owaski
Okay.
too, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
Abraham is a historical person. And then you got like I said, during the time of Abraham, while he was in Africa, during that same time he was teaching the truth of the Creator. Iowata was, guess where? Teaching the same things. Guess where Iowata is from? I'll just take a wild guess. America.
You see what I'm saying? See how we diving into fantasy?
So what I'm saying is,
Show me any archaeological
hold on.
evidence about
This is a real
Iowata.
person here. Iowata is a real. Wait, hold on. Iowata is a real prophet on the same level as Abraham. They brother, contemporary prophets. And Iowata is from here. He's from America. But you didn't know that because you don't read Owaspy. But he's a real person who taught
They want to talk
higher
about a comic
truths
book and
of
it's
love
straight
and
up out of
understand
comic.
yourself.
Huh? Where can we find this information at?
You can find it. First of all, you can find it in Owaspy for sure. Look up Iowata. I got other little texts that talk about Iowata. They changed his name in popular books to Hiawatha. So if you ever heard of a man named Hiawatha, it's actually pronounced Iowata, right? And he was a praiser of the Great Spirit, and he taught, don't kill, don't steal, love your neighbor as yourself.
How you write it?
You said what?
How you spell his name? How you spell his name?
Hold on, let me go get the old real quick. Let me go get my OIC. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Y'all can rap real quick. Give me like 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man, that's wild, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like okay, you have what you say about the Bible and your biasness and your dislike. Hold on. Your biasness and your dislike for the Bible will have somebody come up and just say something that don't make no sense and you amen it just because you don't like the Bible. That's why y'all losing, bro.
Hey, listen, time out.
Oh, go ahead.
Because when y'all get the Bible out the way and y'all start talking about what y'all believe in, it'd be crazy.
Hold on, Cosmo. Before you go real fast, let me say this. Let me come up and I say this. I don't believe none of these doctrines. I don't care if it's the Owaspy, the King James Version, the Quran, the Jewish Bible. I don't believe in none of them.
No, but this what I'm saying, Humble. You on the bus, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a short bus. I'm just saying you on the bus, right? And whoever you lit on, no matter where they going, they got to have some type of information that's valid. They just can't come on the bus, say the moon made of cheese, and you be like, yeah, come on, let's ride. Because just from you letting them on the bus, just from you letting them on the bus, you amening whatever they're saying.
How the moon was made.
So that's what I'm saying, Humble. This is what I'm saying. This is why the conscious community is losing. Y'all ride the bus and y'all let anybody get on the bus. Nature Boy, Polite, Young Pharaoh, it don't matter. And when y'all get the Bible out the way and y'all sit down on that bus and talk about what y'all talk about, that's what y'all get, bro.
Hey, what you talking about? You ain't talking about nothing. What you talking about?
Let me respond to Gideon before you jump on him. I think that what you just mentioned is the same across all faiths and spirituality. That problem that you're talking about with the brother polites and the pharaohs, that's a human problem. It's not a conscious community problem. Like we have a whole man. You know how many investigations for decades that they've had on people in the church touching people?
Come on, man.
Doing weird stuff.
Yo, pastor, nigga.
No, hold on. Don't do that when I'm talking, please, though. And I know you don't know, but to me, I don't want you to co-sign and instigate because I'm not about to be rude and disrespectful, and I don't want you to do it
I
over
got you.
top
I
of
got
me.
you. I
And
feel
then
you.
when he responds to me unkind because
I
maybe
got
your
you. My
ad
bad.
libs a little
Salute,
bit.
salute.
No, it's okay though. I know.
But I'm just waiting for you so I can read
Yeah,
this here. Watch
I
it.
don't want him to feel like I'm jumping him because I'm gonna say it respectfully though.
No, it's peace. It's all
Yeah.
balanced. I got you. I'm with
And dang, where was I at? Yeah, it's
He
people
was talking
across
about
all
everybody
walks
mess
of.
up.
Yeah, everybody messes up. It's not like the conscious community got a monopoly on weirdos. We don't. Like it's everywhere. Actually, it's disappointing when it happens here. Of course, I'm sure y'all feel the same way when like some of y'all people do
that.
some weird stuff. We all be disappointed. But I think it's unfair to throw the conscious community under the bus in that fashion because we do have some weirdos that did
But
some
that was
weird
just a
stuff.
deflection. That was just a way he was trying to deflect from my facts I'm about to bring out about Iowata anyway. Like I
Okay,
said,
and
Hey,
I'll
bro,
fall back though.
Iwata.
Actually, I'll let Gideon respond before I pass it around.
Yeah, and I'll say this real quick, A1. You know it's all love, my brother, with all
Yeah,
y'all, bro.
it's all
Humble,
love.
even Cosmo, even this a waspy fellow, man. But say, bro, what the difference is, the Bible is the standard. I don't represent no man. I don't represent no affiliated groups or anything. Now, when you show me in the Bible that the Most High is saying do something wrong, then I can
I
take
can
that
show you that.
L.
Easy work. I can easily show you that. Easy
So,
work. I can show you that with the quickness. Matter of fact, let's go there
why
first
are you
before we even go to
interrupting me,
Iowata.
bro?
Let's go into the
Why
Bible.
why are you
We ain't
interrupting me,
got to go to
Cosmo?
Owaski. Let's talk about the Bible since
Hold
that's what
on.
we're
Let
talking
me
about.
let
Let him
me let
finish
me
The
praying.
land my
Bible.
plane.
Oh,
Let him
go ahead.
finish praying.
Let me land my
Oh, I'm on your
plane,
top, but go ahead. Land your
and
plane. I'm gonna shoot
then
you
you can
down
go to
anyway.
some more obscure sources talk about this Iowata fellow who nobody in history probably even know about. But
I've never heard
so
of him either. I would have guessed.
You don't know about it.
that's
It's
that's
your
what I'm
show.
saying. A1.
You're
It's like
uneducated. You
it
don't
is
know what
written.
you're talking about. Actually,
That's what a
Let him
true
land. Let him
Israelite go
land.
by. A true Israelite go by what is written. We don't follow no man.
nigga, true
We
Israelites
don't
don't
let no
even
man walk
follow a
around here
book.
talk about he know 8, 9 languages and never ask the nigga to say one of them.
You
You
are
know
a
what I'm saying?
Leviticus. You're
Nah,
a Leviticus.
Cosmo,
You're
we
not
need
an
you to source
Israelite.
that up.
the more
But
you
go
cut
ahead.
him off, the
He's
longer it
erratic,
takes
bro.
for you to get the
Oh,
floor back.
all right. We
Right.
can
That's how they treat
look.
droops,
Let's
bro.
debate it. We're
I'm
gonna
a
set up
drook
a
to this
debate.
dude, bro.
The
We're
more
gonna
you
set up a
cut him
debate.
off, the longer it takes for you to get the floor back, Cosmo. And
Yeah, I
then
know.
y'all ended
I
up
ain't worried about it. Go ahead.
just going back and forth with half sentences
All
over
right.
each
I
other
ain't worried about
instead
it.
of you actually being. I want you to be able to cook. I
All
don't
right.
want you to throw the little feather punches that ain't landing.
Got you.
Right.
Ain't nothing gonna land if both of y'all talking at the
Yeah,
same time.
I'm gonna sever his head from his body. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cosmo. I mean, Gideon, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
go
Cosmo.
ahead, bro. Cause the dude seemed to can't contain himself. So go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to shoot your guy down again. So we're gonna start with the Bible since you're talking about show me in the Bible where God did something wrong. Okay,
No, I
boom.
said show me in the WASP any historical figure. You
I
going
know.
to
I already first of
Zarathustra
all,
and
I
all
told
these
you. I already mentioned a few in Owaski. We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna put my finger on there just so you know. We in Owaski the historical prophets listed that we can name. We know Zarathustra, Poe. We know Abram. We know Brahma. Huh? No. I'm headed there. I'm on the phone now. We know Brahma. We know Iawata. We know Moses, Capilia. All them. Thoth is in there. All these Negroes is in Owaski, and they're real people. All right, documented. We know the emerald tablets of Thoth, right? You know who Thoth is, right? That ain't no imaginary person. That's a real man, and that's in Owaski. So I already debunked that. Knock that out the air. Now let's get to your evil ass demon monster god. Okay, let's go over here. Let me show this Levitican that he ain't even an Israelite for real. He think he an Israelite, but you're not. All right, so we're gonna go to the book of Samuel, chapter 1, verse 15. I'm sorry, chapter 15, verse 1. And it reads, Samuel also said to Saul, the Lord, that's yo Yahweh, he sent me to anoint you king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore heed the voice of the words of your Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I will punish Amalek for what they did to Israel, how he ambushed him on the way when he came out from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek. This is the Lord telling Saul, go attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel, and donkey. Wait, go back up a little taste. It said infant and nursing child. Now, if you think that that's not a bad thing, then you a weirdo. You in more darkness than you even understand. Because the creator that we all serve, that's in the OWASP Bible, tell you my inspiration is to not kill anything that I gave the breath of life to. So when you get the unction in your heart to not kill, that's the creator's voice to you. But when you feel like you got to justify your evil demon god's murderous tactics, then you, my brother, are a dupe. So whenever you're ready to debate what you just asked me, whether your God can do evil, it has done evil in your book, we can debate that. I got objective sources. You ready, Gideon? Go ahead. Speak your mind, brother.
So I'm gonna be real fast.
And
I
that's just
see the
one
sister
example.
is the
Go ahead.
queen. I see the sister is the queen. Come on, so I'm gonna try to be real fast with this, bro. I'm gonna answer this in two parts, bro. So this just shows the type of cloudy haze mentally you will be in when you're reading the OAS because you never get anything clear and concise. So in the Bible, we have people like Pontius Pilate, we have Taharka, we have Shalmaneser the second, we have Xerxes. These are real people in history that's corroborated by the biblical text, which is why it baffles me when Humble would say the Bible isn't historical. Is it a history book in its totality? Of course not. It's probably one of the only type of books of its kind. But when it speaks of historical matters, it's definitely a history book. So that's what I'm saying, Cosmon. I'm not asking about no Zarathustra, who's a quasi mythological figure with no contemporary sources on this, brother. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you? I see how you come to your conclusions, but it's real bad and it's real problematic because it's not based in reality. So that's as far as like the historical people in the Bible versus the Oaspi who Marlborough wrote, that dude Marlborough. Now, as far as when you're saying the evil that the Most High did, so a lot of things you say or people say when they speaking or when I'm speaking, it should beg the question. So now I'm begging the question from you. Where was your God antennas when all this is happening? Because this really happens in the world. Death, murder, genocide, all this happens. So now I'm gonna lay this at the feet of your God. So why is your God allowing all this to happen, Cosmon? Go ahead.
He fell off for a second. I'm sure he'll be right back up here.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shalom, sister.
Shalom, shalom. It's the queen next. I was gonna say, I hear how he talking with fire. I don't know if you heard well, you did hear my show the other day. I used to talk like him and slide the insults in there, like you're a dupe, man. But it's not positive. And just because I disagree with you on the information, I mean I gotta slight you and continue to slide a little insults in. I just
Yeah,
think
yeah,
because I
that's
know it's
true.
gonna end up turning the other person up, unless that's what he wanted. So
Yeah,
when you start popping off and insulting him back, like he gotta remember, like
yeah.
you
Nah,
slide
that
all that
the
stuff in there. You don't gotta say that y'all slow at the end. Just
the
explain why you think it's incoherent. Like
the Aboriginals and the Owaspy, that's one of their tactics. But like I like to know why people think what they think, and a lot of times it be uh psychological issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what it be a lot of times. People just, like just because you got internet, Wi-Fi, and a smartphone don't mean like you really know what you're talking about just because you act like you know what you're talking about. So
it's a queen. You got the floor.
Peace, peace. Yeah, I agree with what Gideon said. I also agree with partially when he was talking about the historical accuracy. I believe that the Bible is based on a true story. You know, like how Amityville Horror is kind of based on it. Like they got the names right, but
Mm-hmm.
all of the events are subjected to ridicule, but I do believe that there are some factual things that's happening in the Bible. Even when you talk about like them going from place to place and, murdering people and tearing down their idols, like you can see the archaeological, evidence of that. So they were really doing what they was doing. You're not gonna act like that, but I think that on both sides of the conversation, we could leave room for, accuracy because we know that, a lot of people aren't reading the Bible in its entirety to get the full understanding of it. And then when it comes to people who believe in the Bible, they're not necessarily coming out of their comfort zone to understand the history behind it. So I think that everybody has some growing that they need to do when it comes to this conversation.
Like, and I don't see myself when I say this as being subjective. I'm looking at this totally objective, but that's subjective in of itself. But the Bible versus the Quran and versus the Book of Owaspi, and it's crazy because he was talking about some Shakespearean type of talk. The Bible is more coherent and more easily to follow along than either one of those books. I've tried reading the Quran. It's all over the place. And God knows I tried reading the Owaspi. It's like you could tell this was written somewhere in the Wild Wild West while this dude was hopped up on some type of like it's just crazy. Like you can't even sit down. Like if you sit down and read one page of that and be like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about, you lying. And you just won't fall for anything because it makes no sense. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I want to check it out. I still haven't found the time to read it. I know it's a book I definitely want in my collection. I want every piece of literature, um, spiritual literature in my library. So I need one. But coming soon. I'm gonna break it down.
Yeah. And I heard the brother Humble speak about the Bronze Age collapse. If you was to study Israelite culture and the history of Israel, he would know, even scholars attest to that fact, that there was this is actually speaking towards Israel being sovereign in that land at that time. Because when you look at the preceding events that happened before that we see in the Armana letters that led up to the Bronze Age collapse, it all makes sense. It goes with the narrative in the Bible, the conquest of Canaan by Joshua. When we see the just the different archaeological sites. Some argue Jericho for us, some argue against us. So, I mean, along with the fact that when you look in our Constitution or our laws, we're instructed to not be a materialistic people. We're instructed not to make any statues of our rulers or people of that nature. So you're not going to find that in the archaeological record because it's not there. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that we didn't do that because a lot of our kings, more than 85% of them was paid, like was heathens. So they might have had that. But, going by what the book says, you can see why we wouldn't have those things because it's instructed for us not to have it. And that Bronze Age collapse coincides with the United Kingdom of Israel. So I don't know why he would mention a Bronze Age collapse. Yeah. But I mean, scientifically, like when I had the debate with Cosmon. I mean, there's all type of sciences in the Bible: agricultural, behavioral science, uh, biology. Even when I had the debate with Issa Queen, I was showing how what she looked at as a slight was primitive, scientific approaches to population. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all in the Bible, man. These people just be saying this to just gaslight, but
Mm,
when you sit down and really look at it, you see that's not the case.
it's the queen. Want to respond to that?
Nah, I think she gone.
Oh, she dropped off. I'm over
Yeah,
here in my email looking up something.
yeah.
Okay.
So humble, don't you ever, ever in your life put that on a thumbnail again. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm quite sure you probably had to bounce, but don't do that, bro. Appreciate your A1
Cosmon is
radio. Come
back.
on. Yeah, man. Let's see what this guy got. What's up, my brother?
Oh man, my bad. My phone died. I could, the false guy's trying to keep me from shooting this light off. This reality, it's crazy,
You
man.
got
But
power like that over your phone?
actually, no.
Yeah,
But
you hear
I
what
can
you heard
only
of Gideon? Giving credit to your God's
Yeah,
power.
look,
it is what it
bro.
is. All praises.
I can only imagine the amount of foolishness that Gideon was spewing when I was gone. But I'm glad I got a chance to not hear it, so I didn't have the urge to interrupt or interject. He could just get it off. So now I can talk. You
At
know what I'm
least you know
saying?
what you need to work on, though. You
Oh
just said
yeah, I
it.
already know. But I do. But to be honest with you, I have an extreme amount of decorum. I just be messing. I like to mess because you know what I mean. It
I
is what it
feel you.
is.
I ain't mad at you. You usually don't take it overboard, so you good.
Yeah, no, I can pull back the reins at any time. Self
Yeah.
control, man. But yeah. But like I was saying, man, this just the reality of I understand, my brother Gideon been in church his whole life, reading Bible, all this. So have I. My grandfather was a pastor, my daddy was a pastor, my brother's a pastor now, my brother-in-law is currently pastoring the church. So I come up reading the Bible studies and BTU meetings in and out of church all week long since birth. You know what I mean? And I still play guitar for a church right now. So
Yeah, I need a concert from you too, brother. I'm serious about that.
yeah. I'm gonna come and do a whole presentation for real. And like I said, Gideon, if you really want to debate, I don't gotta be nice to you. You know what I'm saying? We can really get down. Because the reality is the creator is everywhere with all of us right now. And he ain't never gonna inspire you to off a child. So that inspiration is objective to your soul. You could feel that. If you saw your God appear to you right now and tell you, oh, I want you to go kill this Edomite child because he's an Edomite, would you do that? The answer should be, of course not. And if it's not, of course not, then my brother, like I said before, you are so seriously duped by this biblical deity pump faking to be the creator of all love, life, liberty, harmony, and happiness. He's not. Because that wouldn't even be in there. You see that? Because what's in there concerning the true creator's character, what it is in the Bible that speaks of his character is that his inspiration is, thou shalt not kill. So if the creator is telling you in the 10 commandments, thou shalt not kill, and then turn around and tell you to kill an innocent suckling child, what's going on here? But if you had the OWASP, my brother, if you really sat down and read earth, sky, spirit, right, and took some time to hang out with your brother Cosmon and the creator gang, you would actually understand that even in the Bible, when Abraham was so-called tempted by what the Bible make you feel like it's the creator, but it wasn't. Owaspi tells you that was a low-grade angel that came up to Abraham and told him to offer up Isaac as a sacrifice. You see that? And Abraham checked that low-grade angel and told him, hey, homie, prove to me that you really God, because I've been commanded not to kill, especially not my own son. And then at that moment, the spirit departed away from Abraham, perceiving that he knew the higher law of the creator, which is don't kill nothing. Don't go to war. You're not supposed to do that. So if God is telling you that in any book, I don't care if it's Bible, Quran, whatever spiritual text you reading, like my brother Humble Salute say, I don't believe none of that shit. None of them books. As you should not. You should be able to think for yourself and know the creator to your soul telling you, bro, no. You know that voice in the back of your head that you call conscience? That's not just your conscience speaking. That is Jah. That's Jehovah. That is our Heavenly Father ever present with every man and woman and child on earth. See that? Owaspi tells you that. It tells you that what men in darkness, what they call conscience, is actually the voice of the directly upon you.
Hey, Gideon, you see what I got pulled up, right? I only had one judge y'all debate. I'm not about to play it. I've never even listened to this, but I have the results. But it was only one judge. It was Ill Doctor, and he judged it. He's one of the most professional judges that I have between him and my dad. But one day we can play this and see what he says about the debate. He gave a real in-depth response, he said, as he always does, though. Again, I've never listened to this, so I don't even know what his judgment is. But I don't want to play it right
Well,
now. I
maybe
just wanted to let you know we do have it. So whenever you want to do a show on it or set that stream up, just let me know.
yeah, maybe we can get Cosmine on and everything too. You know.
Yeah. Cause I know, yeah, cause you put on one of the best performances I've ever seen on my page against Cosmine, man. You had that question and answer round was crazy. That shit was
Oh,
fire.
where? Oh, are you talk? This is this for me and Issa Queen debate?
No, this was for Cosmine dropped off again.
Oh,
His
okay.
phone died
Yeah,
again. Oh,
yeah,
this was for
nah.
you and Cosmine.
Okay, yeah, that'll be
That's what
dope,
made me
man.
think about it because I'm like, man, he already went against one of the creator gang, and
Yeah,
I
man,
don't even
I'm
know.
wanting
I
to
can't
make
say who
circles,
won,
man.
but Ill Doctrine definitely gave a verdict on that. So
Okay.
one of the most respected voices on the internet when it comes to auditing the arguments. Shout out to that brother as well. He's probably working, listening right now. He stays tapped in. Everybody give him a round of applause. I'm going to do a results show for the finals tomorrow. He judged both of the finals debates.
Okay.
So, yep, I'm going to do that. I really was focusing on the tournament because I got so overwhelmed. So that's why I stopped the judging on the exhibition debates. I just didn't have the infrastructure and the necessary help that I needed to do everything and then still maintain my life. Like I got a daughter, I'm a store I'm running. It's a lot, but I still think I do amazing considering I've gotten us this far. So
Yeah, man, that's a lot of work for one person, man.
shout out my team, though, man. They've been stepping up a lot lately. I appreciate it. It's the queen. Oh no, that's Ben. Ben Eaton. How you feeling?
Hey, peace to the panel. A1 and Gideon. Hey, I'm gonna jump down. I can only hear you, A1, so I'm gonna jump down and get on my computer.
Okay, bet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Cosmon said something and then I jumped in before you could respond, Gideon. I don't know if you remember what he was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was just speaking about his book of Owaspy, man. It's my grandfather, he used to like to read a lot of different, spiritual books, and you know, it is just one of them type of books, man, where it's like with that Near Eastern, Indian, Hinduish, type of, what I'm saying? Like the European got their hands on it, and some of them just went too far with it, which is obvious from this guy, and it's just crazy, man. Like I say, man, there's no coherent thoughts within that, man. You can't go 3 sentences deep before you just be confused. And what a lot of times people do is they be scared to say they don't understand what they reading. So whatever the person be telling them, so they won't seem dumb, they be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see it, and don't see none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. It's just simple, man. Bible.
You got a crazy echo.
I thought that was J7000 or a Wasp killer. I was about to say, damn. Well, yeah, Cosmine, you breaking up. Can't hear you. Yeah, I know. Wasp got your tongue. I know, bro.
What's the
Stop trying
word,
to help.
Gideon?
Oh, what's good? What that is? King Day Shalom. No.
Shalom, Ben. What's going on?
What's up, family?
What y'all building on?
Well, Humble had a show on, whether the Bible is a historical book or scientific. He was saying it was neither. He jumped off. I don't know what happened to him, but
I just wanted to throw out there in response to Gideon, as far as conversation about Israelites and the Judites being pagans. It was just their culture. Like I know what we see in the biblical text is what we see in the biblical text, but historically and archaeologically, this is simply just their culture. What the biblical texts attempt to do later is to polemicize these things that they deem an issue, but it's an issue because they are writing these texts to suit the needs and the theological views of their time. But historically, archaeologically, ancient Israel were polytheistic. It was the norm in the ancient world.
Somebody got Fleetwood Mac playing.
That's true. Oh, you can hear that? Turn that down a little bit, huh? I don't want to turn it all the way down.
Yeah, but I think I heard King J say that was true, but I would have to disagree with that. That's based on a minimalist approach to the information, which I could, I can respect you have that perspective, but like I say that would be considered minimalist.
That's not minimalist. That's facts.
That's okay. Well, see the issue with using these terms, minimalist, maximalist, is that basically anybody at any time can be a minimalist or a maximalist. I'm gonna give you an example. One of my favorite scholars and archaeologists is William G. Deaver. Depending on what you're reading, you will call Deaver a minimalist. But if you read something else or something like compare like Solomon and David, the conversations of are they historical and all, he would be a maximalist. So I understand that you might not understand how to use these terms, but to call me a minimalist or to say that that's just a minimalist view, that's the consensus view. That's the consensus view. That's the consensus view amongst the majority, amongst the vast majority of scholars, to the point where we don't even have these conversations in scholarship anymore.
Right.
Like conversations about the Exodus. If you read Professor Carol Meyer's book, she explains perfectly the conversation that scholars even have. They don't even talk about trying to find a historical Exodus, rather trying to understand how the story developed, how the story developed within the text, how the text developed. That's more of an important conversation to scholars because there's absolutely
And that is
an obvious point that there's nothing there. You feel me?
And that's the point that I was trying to bring out, that a lot of it is not factually proven. You see what I'm saying? Historically, even though there are historical people that they mention, but not all of every part of that can be said to be historical, a historical document.
So there is history in the Bible?
Of course, there's history in it.
Okay.
There's history, but it got to be a case by case thing.
For sure.
Right, because if you
but more importantly, like you were saying, was how did it come to? I was saying more importantly, what you were saying was how was it compiled? That's when you start thinking about that, then you're gonna get into a whole nother world.
Yeah, and for scholars, this is an amazing conversation. It's only for the faithful that it gets a little different.
Right.
But for scholarship,
but see that's what I'm saying.
But to make it
so
simple,
all the history that we have in regards to the nation of Israel's, scholars don't say that that's not true. Again, correct. And you're saying something about I don't know the term minimalist or maximalist. Is more or less when you're speaking biblically, you have an approach. That's what that means. So yeah, your whole conclusion is very minimalist. And you can definitely look that up and see it, because like I say, it's too much archaeological evidence for you to just say that Israel didn't exist. So
that's not what I said, but I got you. Hold on. About the minimalist and maximalist point. My point was saying that you're calling me a minimalist because that's just an apologetic excuse to throw me into they just skeptical of the book.
Right.
And that's unfair. That's unfair because if you're using that term inappropriately, right? So at any other point, if I was to say, oh yeah, Hezekiah existed, blah, blah, blah.
But you're saying points. That's why you got to listen. Listening is an art. I said you're in totality.
With what you're already pre-held.
Your whole summation. That's what I'm saying. Your whole summation and its conclusion It's very minimalist.
Because I disagree with you. That's why you're calling
No,
me a minimalist.
But
no,
but what
no,
Because
I
if I
was
was
no,
to agree
not
with
at all.
you,
You took
I would.
offense to it because when
No,
a
I don't
person
take offense.
makes
I
that
just think
when
you're
a person
misappropriating the
is
term.
called a minimalist, it a lot of times it means that they're just trying to, skate out
No,
information when it seems
right. That's how
problematic,
you
and they
think the
just
term
they just
is
go with the
used.
flow. So I can see why you would be offended by it, but I
Well, the
mean
thing
that's
is,
what it is.
what, like you
No,
said,
that's
Gideon,
exactly what I'm
Gideon,
saying,
like you
Gideon.
said, you got to focus on the actual archaeological evidence that we have that we can see, right? So we know that the Israelites existed. Nobody's arguing if the Israelites existed or not. We know that that's historical fact. Matter of fact, many of us come from that same stock. But the thing is, when you look at the history of Yeshua and look at how he lived his culture, it was vastly different from the Levitical priests who were ruling over the temple. Yeshua's lifestyle was vastly different, culturally speaking. So he was the one telling you, stop listening to the Pharisees, nigga. And not only him, but the prophets before him was saying, hey, y'all following something else. You need to repent. The prophets was telling these niggas, our ancestors, what you say is Israel. He been saying this for years. Now I'm telling you, the creator is ever present with you, even outside of a book that may have been tampered with by whoever, Babylonians, Romans, whoever done touched it, Americans, and tampered with the Bible itself. Don't matter. I don't care if they burn every Bible on the planet. You still know to your soul to love your neighbor as yourself, outside of any book.
That's
See what
false.
I'm saying?
That's
That's all
that's
I'm
very
saying.
false.
Period.
That's very false.
That's not false, nigga. So you don't know not to kill nobody without the Bible? If you never read the Bible, you would just be out here murdering people. That's what you're trying to tell me,
The Bible is
Gideon?
epigenetically in my bones, my brother. But there
The
are
Bible
people
is
in this world.
epigenetically in your bones. That's what you
There
just
there
said.
are people in this world not only would
You
greatly
worship the
disagree
book
with
then.
you,
That's
but
what you're
show
showing me.
you that they disagree with you. But go
Listen,
ahead,
I'm
my
gonna tell
brother.
you this. What I'm showing you right now, objectively, what I'm telling you is, if every Bible on the planet was burned, every book in the book, spiritual text was burned, right? Would you stop worshiping the Creator through good works and services unto others? Would you stop because the books are burned? If so, my nigga, you worship a book. You get that?
Not honestly, because
If you don't get
you're,
that, that's
you're,
on you, my nigga. I'm sorry.
you're,
That's whatever. You can argue all you want. Like I said, debate me
no,
on it so I can get paid because we get
you're,
paid to debate. We get
hold
paid
on,
$50. I
but you
need that
answered the
$50, nigga.
question and then you
Debate me
cut him
on
off
it.
though.
We'll let the audience choose who wins the debate because we get $50 to debate. I need that money then.
Well, you can win.
Debate me on it. Let's get bread.
You'll win
We
the
both
screaming
gonna get paid
contest.
either way. We both gonna get paid either way, win or lose. So you
You'll
might as well take
you'll
the debate.
you'll win the screaming contest for sure. I'm
I'm
not
gonna
sure
win.
about.
I'm a win based on screaming facts, proving you wrong. Period, nigga. I can tell you right now. Bro, I'm being easy. I'm being nice to you right now. I'm telling you. I promise you. I promise you. Because
Okay.
what I'm trying to tell you is that it don't matter what book you read, bro. The Creator is still gonna tell you because He's not bound to no book. He's ever present in all creation, and He
But what
speaks
if
to your soul
people
through
don't
the
believe in
trees,
the
through the
same doctrine
birds
that you
singing in
don't
the
believe
morning when
in?
you wake up, when you smell your stinky breath, and He tell you clean yourself. Why?
And that's a objective truth.
Yeah, I
Because
think
God
something happened
has.
to his audio, but since he's frozen, go ahead and get in there because he asked you a question. You mean kind of cut you off,
Oh
but
no, we good. I really was wanted to get at Gideon because Gideon was trying to make a point. I just wanted to get some more clarity about what Gideon was actually talking about.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
you got the
What
floor,
was
baby.
with you and Ben? What was the discussion y'all going back and forth about?
Gideon called me a minimalist because I disagree with certain points of his religious beliefs.
Right. So you don't know what a minimalist is. Let me tell you what a
No,
minimalist is.
no, Gideon, you don't
We
A
do.
understand.
minimalist is a person who takes the biblical narrative and the information and looks at it at its most scholarly least level. If speaking laymanly, like for instance, they would say the nation of Israel was nothing more. You believe it was a chiefdom, probably, right? Or like just a big tribe, right?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I subscribe to Israel's Finkelstein and Aaron Mayer's view, Mahi Mazar's view. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's a minimalist view. So I don't know why you would be offended by that. But I didn't mean to offend you, my brother. But I was just
No,
saying
you didn't offend me, but I just wanted to clarify that depending on what you're saying, I would be a minimalist and then I'll be a maximalist. So you're using
Yeah,
the term in
I
such
think in
right.
strict
that
terms.
Yeah, and I don't know all your points. That's why I say like your summation,
That's why I'm
your
saying
conclusion.
the label is nonsense because I can be a minimalist one point and I can be a maximalist the other. So to use it in
Right.
such a strict way would be a nonsense way. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So you just don't like the terms at all. I mean, that's understandable.
I mean, you can go. I mean, it's fine, brother. You can say it if you want to. I'm just clarifying. I mean, that's it. That's all.
Mhm.
Yeah, you want to call me a minimalist? Call me a minimalist. But I mean, the points still stand. I'd rather deal with the data than to deal with the terms.
Yeah. And the data definitely shows that, it's nothing speaking against a kingdom of Israel that amassed them that amassed up to about 3 million people in the first century definitely existed. Like it's too much evidence
Well,
otherwise.
seeing that case, I would say, where's your physical evidence that shows 3 million people leaving from? Where's that evidence?
Well, Josephus speaks of up to 3 million people.
He's
So
talking
Josephus is
about the Roman wars. That Josephus is not talking about something that happened
the Exodus.
2,000 years
I'm
ago.
speaking of the destruction of Jerusalem.
Wait, I thought
Now,
you was
when you
talking.
look when you look at the Exodus, the Bible says it has 300,000 fighting men. So when you add up the children and the wives and the elderly, you definitely get a range of 1.5 to 3 million.
Well, King J
And so,
asked you what's the evidence, and you said Josephus.
Yes, in regards to the destruction of
About,
Jerusalem.
no,
about the Exodus.
the Exodus.
No, not the Exodus.
That's what
The
I'm talking
Exodus.
about. That's what I'm asking.
Those numbers come from the Bible. I'm talking about 3 million people. I'm talking about
I might have
in
to
up
ask
to
you a question
70
again.
AD.
I know, but what's your evidence for the Exodus in the Bible, according to them? So you say close to 1.2 million people died because they
No, you're
died.
not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening.
I'm not.
Not listening. Nah, no. You mixing up 70. You mixing up the destruction of Jerusalem with the Exodus. With what I said.
Well, I want to specifically talk about the Exodus now. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about Jerusalem. I want to specifically talk about the Exodus and the 1.2 million that mixed multitude that left out. Is there any physical evidence of any mass graves or any bodies of that 1.2 million?
Yeah. Nah. Oh, the
No.
only evidence you're gonna get from that is the biblical sources.
So why is there no historical evidence?
Well, I mean,
We
the
found
absence of evidence isn't the
Huh?
evidence of absence. The
Yeah, but
the Sinai desert where they sojourned for 40 years, that's not even 2% of that's been excavated. So
yeah,
you
that's
can't.
not fair, Gideon. That's not
What's
fair
that?
because you can say the evidence of absence. I get it, I understand, but to lack absolutely no evidence in areas where you would expect evidence is very striking.
Mhm.
That's a
Right.
a major point than to say well the evidence of absence is
Right.
not the absence. Compared to the claim that you guys make, right? Compared to the claim you make, to lack that amount of evidence is very striking.
Especially
So
the sensationalist
Which
of
is
it,
why I
man.
say,
you agree that that's what scholars say that's a reasonable assessment for scholars to make.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely something they hold against the nation. But again, like I said, the area where the Israelites sojourned for 40 years, that hasn't been excavated in totality. You know, in
What do
some
you mean?
areas, yeah, like so, yeah.
Where do you subscribe that the event happens at? I subscribe it happened at Sarah B. El Kadem.
Well, I would say they was in the Sinai Peninsula.
That's why I gave you the exact location.
Yeah,
Sarah B. El Kadem, the turquoise mine,
I
right?
would say
right.
it happened,
Mhm.
but
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, if it did happen, that's where I'm, leaning towards it because that's where we find the Proto-Sinaitic script.
right. We see, and some scholars, such as Dr. Petrovic, he
Uh-huh.
speaks of what they actually say, and it speaks of Ephraim and Manasseh being in those areas, which will make sense.
Where? I don't think it. I haven't heard of
Petrovic,
that.
his
Yeah.
translations been widely discredited.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
not
you
quite
know, it's
sure of
like
that.
that's why I say you can get some that say yes and some say no. So
No, every like okay, think about Christopher Rolston, which Garfield just spoke about last week, who is probably the number one epigrapher uh
Hmm.
in the world.
yeah, I'm
Hmm.
He
familiar with
he
you talking
he
about.
he absolutely ruins Christopher Rolston. What's his name? Petrovic's claims of Sinai 150,
Mm.
115 Moses and the Sinai inscriptions.
Man, hold
All
on.
the things that Kasai was saying and everything,
Exactly.
all
I'm
the
just
claims you
gonna say,
guys
hold
make.
on, don't let people.
These are old claims.
Oh
This is why
shit,
Garfield always say you guys are stuck in 2007 because these are
Mm.
old, outdated claims.
man. I think it was like 1931.
These are old claims that I
That's
have like a list to work on.
crazy.
I'm ready for.
Let me, yeah, hold on. Let me look at that, my notes on that somewhere. Mhm.
Gideon, so you disagree that polytheism was originally ancient Israelite and Judaic, that was originally their culture, and that the biblical text is actually doing a later polemic against that? You don't agree to that?
No, I don't agree to that. I agree that
Can you tell me why?
in their formation, they were quote unquote monotheistic people. Now, like I said, they've since the beginning they've delved into idolatry because basically the whole world delved into idolatry. Like the whole world at one point, worship the creator, one creator, but they all corrupted themselves. That's why we see people mistaking El and thinking El is Yah. Like they confuse,
Are you
Can you
gonna
because
can you can you can you give me your origin of Yahweh? What is his origin?
he has no origin. You talking about like as far as like scholarly and historically and like
I mean,
archaeology?
like, when did he pop up in history?
just
Well,
actually
the first mention of him would be the Sashu of Yahweh, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so about 1450 BC, we see his first occurrence.
we don't know that though.
Yeah, and then I don't even think it's Yahweh in that occurrence. It seems to be Yahoo. We always have Yah. Like and this may help you because I like to do a lot of unbiased research, and I was studying the northern location for the Ur of Chaldees, and I stumbled upon these Amorite tribes in the Mari kingdom of Yamhad, and they're called the Beni Yamin. So I like to say that these are the Beni Yamin, Benjamin. And within this Beni Yamin clan, they have tribe, they have clans that have the theophoric name titles Yah. They also have chieftains, right? Who I find interesting that their chieftains are called um, David, right? Um, I found that interesting. They call their god Sin, which is a moon god. Um, El Shaddai. I found that interesting as well. But we also see the same moon god in Egyptian worship by Egyptians. We've always worshipped had moon deities. When you hear Amos, it's really Yamos, and they're worshiping that's a solar deity. Yah has always been a moon deity. Um, so I don't know. I actually have a theory where I'm suggesting that um, Yahweh is just another nameless Namina. You know what nameless Namina is?
I never heard that term.
Okay, nameless Namina is
That
a term.
sounds what that's Greek.
No, nameless demeanor is a term to whereas like if you hear in reference to um, Lord of God, Lord of Abraham, Lord of Jacob, those are nameless aminas. It's not identifying the name of the God, It's just telling you, identifying the spiritual force behind the invisible God. It's a God that requires rituals and deity, but you cannot see his face. I particularly popped in the head when Moses talks to God or on the mountain, and he won't let him see him. He sees his back instead.
Right. But the term,
That's an example.
where did that term
So,
originate?
so it's an example of nameless Lamina is basically a bunch of nameless deities, right?
No, I'm
That
saying the language. What language is that?
it's Amorite. I think it was found in the Amorite. I'm not sure what language it is.
Okay.
Nomina, but
So I guess
how they
numus from spirit, numus,
let
so to
me
speak.
let me look it up. I can actually. Uh, but yeah, nameless. Just look it up. Nameless Namina. I would say most all religions, in their primitive stage, their deities are nameless Namina. They are just the forces, and then like you will have some nomadic tribes that would take some of these forces and give it a name, right? So like when we see the Lord of the Mountain, and which is called El Shaddai, I'm presenting a
Nah, that
thesis
would
of,
be the Lord who sees, if I'm not mistaken. Shaddai, who sees.
well, Shaddai means in Amorite, Bel Shaddai means Lord of Mountain, right?
Okay, you speaking
So,
Amber.
and,
Okay.
and so these would be, for example, these nomadic tribes, right, are in the mountains, right? So these Lord of the Mountains is not naming a particular deity, but we do see this deity identified later in the Ugarit text as El, right? So when we see El Shaddai as the epitaph for Elion, right, as the epitaph for El, and El Shaddai as epitaphs for Els, these are, I'm thinking, titles or descriptions of this nameless Namina, right? So I'm working on it. I'm just discovering the nameless Namina myself. You know what I'm saying?
No. Nah, I could go with some of that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's why I say, like,
Ben,
you
are you
know,
familiar with the concept of the nameless Namina as far as like just the deities?
yeah,
Um,
just the concept behind it. I'm familiar. That's why I say, like, some of that,
mhm.
I can agree with, meaning that at one point, all nations, all people, they started with the worship of just one creator.
Of
And
course.
that's when you start seeing consorts and wives given, and that's where the Bible separate. Because if you're saying man and woman is made in the image of the creator, why does the creator need a wife? The creator is the wife, the creator is the husband, the creator is the child. That's
Mhm.
the creation. So that's where we differ from the Canaanites, because they wanted to give our Asherah, and the Egyptians, they wanted to manifest it into different appellations when that's
Well, you,
not
well,
needed.
well, you are the Canaanite. You are the Canaanite because
Now
what I'm
we were Canaanites in a sense of, like, I'm an American right now. They were
nah,
in
you're
the
the
land of
Canaanite.
Canaan, but
That's disingenuous.
they've always
That's just
been Yasharal.
I
that's
disagree
just
with that.
and that's just not scholarship. That's not critical scholarship. This is simply not the conversation in critical scholarship. You can
Hmm.
say what you want because those are your theological views, but within critical archaeology and biblical scholarship, it's a different conversation that is being had. It's 2026. There's so much of
Hmm.
a conversation that's being had in many different ways.
Yep.
So
So
Yeah.
what we see when we look
What
at
I
the
what I see.
when
Hold
we
on, real
look at
quick.
the
Get in.
primary records,
Go ahead, bro.
just 10 seconds. When we look at the primary records and the chronological order of things that happen in the Levant, it
Uh-huh.
definitely speaks of and I'm not even speaking of what the ancient historians said that speak to the fact. I'm just speaking of what the land says, the history of the land.
What does the
When we
land
look
say?
at when we
right.
look at the events that led up to the Bronze Age collapse,
Let's talk about
again,
it.
we see a whole influx of new people groups that came into the area.
So stop right
That's
there.
what the
Let's stop right
archaeology
there.
says.
Gideon, because that's what I was going to suggest. All we're talking about is these Highland groups coming down to the lowlands. That's it. The
Well, they
Highlands
actually
coming
came
to the.
from
Huh?
Egypt. Yeah, they actually came from Egypt, but
I mean, before they even came. Before, listen. While there are the groups in Egypt, you don't think there's Highland groups, nomadic tribes in the Highlands?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
It speaks to even some of the tribe of Manasseh. Again, Jacob, Joseph's sons, they were very powerful people in the Egyptian order, according to the biblical narrative. So that only makes sense. Again,
You know what? You know what,
Dr.
Gideon?
Petrovic speaks in
Gideon, I
that.
think that if you study outside of the Bible, you'd be dangerous because you're open to information, but I think you just stick in the Bible for it. You got to get out of the Bible and look at outside sources. Like when I said Benny Yamina, that didn't click in your head as Benjamin
Yeah,
as a
Benjamin, Ben
Hebrew.
Amin. Yeah,
Uh,
right.
so
That's what. Yeah,
so
that's
brother,
basically.
these yeah, but these are Amorites. You
Okay, see that.
understand what the argument that I'm making to you? These are Benny and Mina are Amorite tribes. These are Mesopotamian tribes, northern Mesopotamian tribes who stay in the area of Haran, and they worship the god Sin. And so it makes
So
perfectly sense when you think about the story of Abraham and Terah, and he smashing the idols of his father's house and the house of Sin. Like that's the story, brother.
yeah,
Like
so
it make it make.
you're
I'm
trying to
giving you
place
some.
you're trying to place Ur or Mesopotamia up in Turkey. That's where your information leads you.
Well. I started at Urfa, right? And you know, Urfa and Haran is only like 16 miles apart. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going with that southern Iraqi, and that's how I started. And that's how I started. And I found um these Israelite tribes before any type of Israel. Like even when we talk about the Shashu of Seir and Shashu of Yahweh, even then we have Shashu of Reuben. You know what I'm saying? Like these tribes always existed. So I think that these highland tribes, these Transjordan highland tribes, um, are Amorites. You know what I'm saying? Edomites. You know what I'm saying? Especially Reuben. You know what I'm saying? They're Edomite tribes. But specifically when I'm talking about like the kingdom of Mari, kingdom of Yamhad, I'm talking about northern Mesopotamia, which is now modern day Turkey, which is we're talking about Urfa. Urfa is the center location of all of the traffic during this time period. We have the King's Highway going through that. You have all type of trading through Urfa. And if you tell me that Urfa is right there, at least since 10,000 BC, and you telling me that 15 to 30 miles away, you have Haran, Nahor, Taraki, Terah, all of Abraham's brothers and nephews. And in that same place, you have a tribe called Beni Yamin that calls their God El Shaddai, brother. And this is historical. I haven't said anything biblical.
Right. Yeah, I would have to look at that.
You know,
I haven't looked at
King,
that information. So.
King J, Benny, I mean, just means people of the north, right?
Sons of the right. Sons of the
Sons
right.
of the right. Sorry, sons of the right.
Sons of the right. Yeah. And
Benny,
they have another
like that means sons of the left.
Benny, I think it's Benny Samuel.
Yeah.
Samuel. Yeah, sons of the left. So I'm researching the actual tribes and stuff, and I'm just looking at the similarities. And they worship a god called El Shaddai.
You see what Kassad is saying in the comment?
I ain't checking out Kasai yet. He said I told Kasai to go look at that. What did he say? Not saying it's not Benjamin. That's not even the actual name. That's related to a group. They're related to a group called Sons of the Left. They are related to the Sons of the Left. The Benny Samuel. Like I said, I just it's too much of a coincidence for me to say no because like their worship their God is called El Shaddai. They're doing Israelite practice.
So you saying are you saying that Benny Amina are what the biblical texts are referring to as the tribe of Benjamin?
Benjamin, I would make that argument because in the Mari tablets, the Ibn Laban, or whatever the name is referring to them as Habaru because they are coming into the city and destroying, the town. I'm like that makes perfectly sense because in the biblical text, Benjamin is described as this ravenous wolf, right? They're known for looting in towns and these nomadic. So I'm like that fits the description, you know. Um, So I don't know. I don't know. So it's just too much of a coincidence to me to write this off as no. So I'm still researching it. Like I said, this is new. I just crossed upon it, stumbled upon it, and you know.
When
So
you have that source,
I got you.
when it was in the area,
I
what
remember
date
this.
do you have them in
uh,
the area?
this
You
is
might get some heat from me.
this is 18th century,
BC.
1800s, yeah,
Thank
19th century, 1800s, yeah, 18th century.
you. Sorry.
It's basically coincides with the Amorite expansion into the Levant. So that's my argument. That's what I'm working on. I'm coming with a little thesis about it. So it's too many coincidences to be like, you know. And I found Abraham. It doesn't say Abraham. It says Abiram, right? Abiram. He's called a Nazi. You know what I'm saying? I think Nazi means like ruler or something of that,
Chief, basically.
chief. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
So,
that's interesting. I mean, I definitely would have to look at that. But yeah.
but they're not worshiping Yahweh. They're not worshiping El. They're worshiping that God called Sin, right? But they have these different nameless meanings around as well, right? So I'm just trying to figure it all out as far as um, how, because I'm making an argument that the tribe of Benjamin brought uh, this particular worship and title with them from Mesopotamia into Canaan. So that's what I'm working on right
Say,
now. But
say that again. Say that again. That last part. What are they? What are they bringing in? What was?
this transmission, they're bringing in that title El Shaddai. And the
Bringing.
Amorite is Bel. It's not El Shaddai, and the Amorite is like Bel. It's spelled Bel, of course, and then the Shadda, I think. Shaddai,
And
and it
that'll
means
be
Lord.
hard as far as trying to transfer it from Mesopotamia,
Mesopotamia to
southern
Canaan.
Mesopotamia, that'll be hard to do. But like I said, I'm gonna
I don't
check
think
out
so.
them people up there though. I never really looked at those people.
You gotta look at the Mari tablets. Don't look up Abraham. You won't find Abraham. Look up Abiram, right? Don't look up Benjamin. Look up Benny. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't. You have to be really precise when you're asking or typing in.
Right.
And go to JSTAR. You won't find it in Google
They're gonna get you.
yep,
Yeah,
or AI searches. You won't find it at all.
yeah, man. They're gonna get you for this.
The JSTAR. Are you talking about this? No, I'm just
Yeah.
this. I got the sources. I got it written down. I'm on it, so I just got to put it all together to where it makes sense. You know
But
what
you
I'm
and
saying?
Yeah,
So,
Nasai had a debate on this already,
I
right?
kind of remember this a little bit a while ago.
you say
So yeah, that would be an
you say you
interesting.
have.
Yeah, that would be an interesting conversation for you to have, man. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying. So I'm bringing out these sources that I haven't. I'm just familiarizing myself with. So they seem pretty legit, and so I'm like, okay, it
You
makes
and
sense
Nasai
now.
debated this though, right, King J?
We didn't debate this in particular. We basically debated the origin of El. Was it is it in Canaan or its origin?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
always suggesting that El was the original deity
Yeah.
of Israel. We see it in the name Israel. Israel. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a prime example of a theophoric name that contains the name of the actual deity. So you would have to tell me why it's not Israel Yah. Israel Yahweh. You know what I'm saying?
That's just the way that the title comes out.
Are you saying that Israel in El in that instance is a common noun or a proper name?
No, it's
Israel,
it's a proper name, but it's made up
okay.
of a common noun. When you say El, that's a quote unquote common name for Yahweh.
El is, or is El not also a name of an actual deity?
No, see, that's what I'm saying. When you speaking of that Numa, whatever you were speaking about, certain
That
parts of it
nameless
agree
demeanor.
with,
Yeah.
because in the beginning we all worship the Creator as El. But then that's when the Canaanites, the Egyptians, they started giving El consorts, and that's very misogynistic, if you ask me. But once that started, that's when Yahweh chose Abraham to separate from the rest of the world, and eventually we get Israel.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean,
Yahweh had a concert too. So that
Yahweh,
can't be
no,
true.
no, no,
Yahweh had a concert.
Yahweh never had a consort.
Mm,
There's a whole study on it. Right. So like we
yeah.
could say that
Well, there's a whole Bible.
we
Show me
don't
where the
agree
Bible
with
say that.
wait, hold on, let me finish. We can say that we don't agree with that study, but to say that that doesn't exist, like we're doing too much, right? Because it clearly says in his Asherah, Yahweh and his Asherah. Now, how you want to interpret that, that's fine. I like to go with the consort story, but you can't just
Right,
deny the evidence.
right. Nah, like I
Yeah.
deny it, and like I say, show me in the Bible where Yahweh has a wife. I yield.
See, that's the thing, right? Because the fact that y'all always have to go back to show me in the scripture when you know that the Bible, by the time it was written, it was under monotheistic ideologies. And what we're talking about is more, I can't even say polytheistic. I forget what the actual term for it when you have a mother and father deity. There's an actual word for it. And um,
It's
that word
Yahweh.
described the early Israelites because that's why you're saying that, oh well, they started off as El and then they El got consorts. No, y'all believed in El and those consorts until you became monotheistic in Deuteronomy.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
what the
that.
history is actually
Right,
telling you.
Mm.
right.
Deuteronomy 32 verse 8. Yeah, I mean that's where yeah, I mean the sister got a point there. Um,
Yeah, and
It,
that's a bad reading of that text when you think Deuteronomy 32:8 is Yahweh giving how y'all have it, El giving Yahweh a portion of land. That's just bad reading of the
well,
text.
no, no,
Like
no,
that.
no. I don't say that's El giving him his portion. I'm saying that's Yahweh being assimilated into the pantheon itself. You know what I'm saying? Before
Right,
then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So no, I
right,
don't think
right,
Yahweh is the father of El at all.
right, right, right. So
Can I say something
And
real
now,
quick?
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, brother.
Different say, and now I'm even beginning to think that Yahweh is just a title for one of these just nameless Naminas. I'm really, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just thinking that he's just a title. Even I'm even starting to think that El and Yahweh are just titles for this particular nameless Naminas, right? These particular nameless forces, right? That we can't see, but yet are worthy to be that require ritual and praise. So I'm working on that.
Go ahead,
Uh,
Kasai.
uh, yeah, I just wanted to get in here real quick. I ain't gonna be able to be on here too long. I'm waiting on Apostle. Actually, we finna do a show, so I'm just waiting on Apostle. So I just came up here real quick because I heard the brother mention my name and King J going in. So uh, I actually I'm not gonna really try to correct the information. I already debated it, so it's really pointless. I like how my information seems to be like the standard of which people gotta keep trying to come back and correct. So the one thing I wanted to get with King J on, because I was trying to get with you the other night when Reggie was on. Like the one thing I wanted to talk to you about the Benu Yamina, right? I want
Yeah.
because I did tell you next time I caught you on a panel, I was going to rap with you about that after I read on it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but that not only do they go by different names,
Mm-hmm.
they're being called the sons of the right, and
Right. Yes.
they're related, and they're also being called that, and they're related to a group called the sons of the left, and that they're referred to by different names. Like Benu Yamina is not their actual
Right.
actual
It's
name.
different. It's different plans within the tribe, of course. Yes.
Right, right. But I wanted to get that to you, like the information I pulled up was from Cambridge University. I'm gonna share a screen one time, but I'm on my phone.
Yeah,
Those people are they actually have different names. They're not actually just called the Benu Yamina, and they're related to an Amorite. They're actually Amorites. They're related to a group of people called the Sons of Left, and that isn't their
yeah,
actual name. So
yeah.
I don't see the Benjamin connection to that whatsoever, bro. I mean, it's nothing more than just a similar name.
So you don't believe so. What I found was that this actual Binyamin group, they worship a deity. They worship the god Sin in Haran, right? And they were calling their deity El Shaddai, right? They're exhibiting certain Israelite practices that we would later see uh, accustomed by Israel. I wrote it down. The one in regards to the ass, right? The donkey, where they killed the donkey in regards for like for a treaty or some sort, right? They're making a treaty, they would take the donkey and that seems to be some sort of Israelite custom. Um, it's just it's so many coincidences, brother. It's just like hard for me to like. And then Haran in itself has the link to Abraham. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is just too incidental for me. I got to do some more research into this. So I'm
Yeah,
still studying it now, but so
at the end you
And
kind of
so
jump. I don't know what exactly you noticed that you kind of jumped from Haran. What I read about the Benu Yamin on they're in Amorite territory, not Syria.
well, Haran. So you got to remember that when they say Mesopotamia, it's northern and southern Mesopotamia. Northern Mesopotamia is modern day Turkey. So we're talking about the Urfa area. We're going to be in Nahor, and we're going to be in Haran, which is southern Turkey. But at that point in time, it would have been referred to as it was Amorite. It's the Mari kingdom. It would have been Yamhad and Mari to be exact.
Actually,
Within and
Yamhad
I think
was
Yamhad, yeah, and I think
the kingdom
not
that got
yeah,
absorbed into what
yeah,
later became Mitanni, and then
I
yeah.
can't
then
hear I
Mari is
can't
the
hear the
city.
person that's speaking. He real low and it's breaking up too.
Oh my bad. Mari is the city, right, King J?
Yes. Mari, the kingdom
Yamhad is the dynasty that later gets absorbed.
absorbed into the
Right.
Hittites.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was on the right page. Is what you were saying.
Yep,
I'm
and which
sorry.
is biblically when they're referring to Padam Aram.
And you saying that Beni Yamina is the
Yeah,
tribe of Benjamin. That's what you're saying.
I'm making that argument. I'm making
Okay.
that argument.
I just want to make sure.
Simply, we all you gotta do is simply change that Y to that J, and it's gonna be Benjamin. What is Benjamin in the Hebrew? What is the Israelite tribe of Benjamin? What does that mean? Benjamin.
Son of yeah, it's something.
Sons of the right. It's your sons of the right.
Hold on, let me see.
It's still sons of the right. Like man, look, and they're being described as Habaru in the text.
No,
What is the text?
I didn't see that part in them being described as Habaru.
Let me
But
let me get the
once
primary.
again,
Hold on.
yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm gonna get back with you. Like I said, I got a show on that too. But I did also want to say to you because I don't want to like act like I'm talking behind your back or something. Like I'm gonna say something to you that I'm not gonna say in your face. Bro, King J, it seems like you be double talking too much, bro. When I tried to talk to you last night, I mean not last night, but the other night when you was on Reggie, and Reggie was low key coming at me. He's using talking about the Meshe Stele, bro. You know you agree with me on the Meshe Stele.
We agree on the message. So I don't know what. So Reggie was talking about geography, right? So when he's asking about the location of these Transjordan tribes, they're trans. You know what I'm saying? They're in the Midian area, Midian, Edomite, Seir. You know what I'm saying? These are
Bro,
all.
that's not. I'm telling you, I got the show coming up. That's not what Reggie was trying to. Reggie was getting you to agree with him to come at me.
He was saying that for one, Jerusalem didn't exist during 850 BCE. I got the audios. You know how I do this. He said Jerusalem during 850 BCE, when the northern kingdom and southern kingdom are contemporary, he said Jerusalem didn't exist. Then he also started talking about that they're supposed to be coming from the south and everything. When in 850 BCE, the northern kingdom of Israel's already been established. It's like
Already
5, 6
established.
kings.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, see, I don't. What he said is what he said. Now he asked me what he asked in regards to the Mesa Stella, and I told him I do remember saying that's 9th century. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of I didn't hear. I was on earlier, and then I jumped off, and when I jumped back on, I had missed you and his interaction on the show. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't.
I'm I'm
I
just
ain't catch.
I'm just saying it sounded like you was double talking, bro. Like,
No, I don't know what. No. I just answered his questions to the best of my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. I ain't know what y'all had going on. keep me up out of you and Reggie. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, nah. So, but in regards to that, I still, in geography wise, I think, and that's what I thought he was referring to as just location. Um, in regard to the Moabites and in these Israelite tribes. But yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page now. I kind of, yeah, I'm kind of on the same page in regards to that. Um, I still hold fast to L. Now I'm doing more. Like I say, I'm working on this nameless Namina thing, and so I'm trying to wrap my arm around it. How they're um, coming up with because the nameless Namina, they're not called a name; they're described by what they do, right? So there are particular Naminas for certain things, right? That didn't exist outside of that particular, what it was needed for. It didn't exist out of that usage. So I believe at some point, some of these tribes combined some of these nameless Naminas and gave them a name. I think Yahweh was one of the names that was given. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm working on. El and Yahweh, actually, because I'm arguing that they brought El into Canaan. So and that's kind of what I'm working on.
Whoa. That would be, I
I'm
would
gonna let
love
you
to
work on
see
that
the
Harry King,
information on
Jay.
that because like
I'm gonna let you work that theory, brother.
The L God
So
goes all the way back to the Natufians. So how would you then
Exact. So,
say that?
mhm. So I see. So what I'm using as my reference is the Temple of uh, Sin in Haran, where these Benjamin, these tribes of Benjamin, also these Amorite tribes, they're calling their deities El Shaddai. They're calling their deities El
Right,
Shaddai.
because because El was the supreme god of that pantheon before the
Mhm.
Yahwist or the people that came from southern, more southern in the Levant from the
Mhm.
desert area came
But
and
sister, but
intermingled with those
yeah,
early Israelites.
yeah, but you're right. But check it out. You got to go back further than that because we haven't made it. We haven't made it into Canaan yet. We're still in Mesopotamia. That's why I said I'm going to make the argument that they brought it from Mesopotamia into Canaan.
So
So
you're saying that the El that was brought
yeah,
into Canaan from with the Natufians was actually brought into Canaan from someone
what
from
date
the
is what date is in the Tufians? What's your date in the Tufians?
the Natufians are early agriculturalists. This is
8,000 B, 7,000 BC,
no,
8,000 BC.
this is I want to say 20
Paleo.
to 15,000
Okay,
BCE.
so
Like this is the first
okay.
inhabitants of this area. The Natufians are the ones who started the agriculture in the Levant.
Uh-huh.
The
Uh-huh.
Natufians were the ones that started making beer out of yeast and things like that. And
So would
then
they have been?
when,
So
uh-huh.
would they have been the ones who were responsible for Jericho? Because Jericho dates to about 8,000 BC, and Urfa dates to about 10,000 BC. So I mean, I don't
I
have a
think
problem with you
that
saying
they had a part in, but as far as the people that have migrated since then, like you can absolutely, somebody else can come up and say, oh, well, there's a group of people that moved into that area and also helped build
right.
Jericho. Like I'm pretty sure. I'm just talking about like the very first inhabitants of that Levant
Mhm.
area were the Natufians, and they
Okay.
brought their own gods there.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then they turn it into Canaan, and then you get to whatever you want to call the Phoenicians, because I'm not going to argue with you about that. But when
Hmm.
they intermingle with those people, and then you get the Israelites later on with
Right.
their scripts.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say earlier, somebody was saying that El was like a nameless deity or just an energy, and it's just like I feel like that's just so disrespectful, especially since in Ezekiel they talk about how Canaan is the mother. Um, you know, Canaan is the mother of the Hebrews or the Israelites, whatever y'all want to call yourselves.
Hmm.
That's the mother of it. So you can't call these people the mother and then not recognize that their God, El, like you got that name from them. And then for you to be a part of this group and you know who this deity is, you know what the stories are, and then you get into your own and now none of that matters and you get amnesia. I don't believe in
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Oh, so
Can I?
you're suggesting that that ale comes from the Mediterranean, from Egypt?
No, I never said that. I wasn't even
Oh,
talking
okay.
about. Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
talking
I thought
about.
I thought that's what you said. Yeah. That
No.
that they got the ale from Yahweh. Because I mean from Egypt. Because actually I think that they really get very little of their script from or anything out of Egypt. Most of it seems to all be a lot of Mesopotamian, um, and a lot of later on Greek motifs. When we get to the New Testament in regards to Jesus, we see the wine motif, which actually Osiris was a god of wine. Romulus was a god of wine. Dionysus turned water into wine before Jesus did. Um, so a lot of those
Dionysus
stories,
is a god of wine.
yeah. Osiris, all of these are so like these
Yeah.
motifs existed before Jesus did. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like I don't think a lot of these stories, they just seem to be a lot of shared culture, in that from that area. A little stories from here, a little actress hashish from here for our flood myth. We need a hero myth motif. We take that from there. Some it's a combination of a lot of
So
stuff. So
I put forth a theory in my debate. I don't know if y'all know GD and Capone. We had a debate about creation versus evolution, right? And in that debate, I proposed the theory of my own that, the Israelites are playing the antithesis to everything that came before,
right,
right? They
yeah,
are taking stories, switching up characters, and
hmm,
creating a new
identity,
meaning. No, but not even just a new identity, a new meaning behind said story. They're
of
switching up.
course.
So when the world was a little bit more balanced with the goddess and all of that stuff, here
Hmm.
comes these people to tell you that women are evil. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, but I do dig what you're saying. We see that at Sherby El Kadem, where these Semitic speaking miners, take the Egyptian iconography and attribute their own language to their symbols. You know what I'm saying, and create their own script, the alphabet. So yeah, we do see that with these Semitic speakers as they creating their new identity. I don't see the polytheism, the monotheism. I see coming later when we do see the. I've always seen Yahweh with the consort. To be quite honest, when we are when we actually do see the depiction of Yahweh, it's always been either with Asherah. I know Kassai disagrees with that, or also when we talk about the Elephantine Jews, we see Anat, right? We see Anat in Yahweh or either Asherah in Yahweh. Outside of those two occurrences, we don't even see Yahweh depicted at all. And that's where I come back with the nameless Namina at, right? Because now we're just talking about the actual force that he represents, the ability to bring things into existence. So that's kind of where I'm kind of going with that. A1 said he had to jump off, so we got to keep it going, keep the conversation going to the.
What happened? I'm here. I'm listening. I'm working.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gideon jumped off.
But yeah, it's a queen. So how you feel? I ain't mean to do you like that, sister. You know I love you. I still love you. You feel me? So, but how you feel about after the debate? We really didn't get a chance to do an after show or anything, or too much discussion about our debate afterwards. I feel like based off of the topic, you know what I'm saying.
What was the topic? I missed that one.
The topic was, did white women create the feminist movement? Are white women responsible for the feminist movement in our country? So I think I proved that. I don't think that she not proved that, or showed that actually black women were responsible for the actual feminist movement. I think she retrofitted the term feminist, tried to retrofit the term feminist on people like, abolitionists. So I actually showed, and that was the case, that white people started the abolitionist movement. And out of the abolitionist movement, the white women's suffrage movement came. And that white women's suffrage movement actually would be considered the start of the feminist movement. So I don't think she disproved that.
So here's the thing. The debate title wasn't if black women started feminism. So if you were looking for me to answer that question, you were off topic. You were supposed to prove that the white women started feminism.
Yes.
And if I was able to show you a movement happening in ancient Egypt, then that debunks everything you're talking about. That's how I
Right. And I structured my debate so that I attempted to show that model, that conflict model, the word I love so much, was foreign to us. We don't even have a word to express that as far as, Mayada is concerned, as far as the balance. I attempted to show that our traditional models are based on to where the woman has equality. She doesn't have to fight for it.
But that's,
You know what I'm saying?
again, this is how you lost, because the debate wasn't if the debate wasn't if black women needed feminism under Ma'at. That wasn't the debate. Like, you were naming things that don't matter to the conversation. The conversation was clear. Did white women start feminism?
1842.
And if I can show you times where feminist movements were happening before white women, then I win.
But those weren't feminist movements. They weren't feminist movements.
You
can't retrofit that term.
You see how you changed it to now you're saying, well, white women started the white feminist movement. I agree with you. They absolutely started the white.
Yeah.
Right.
So then, why do we have the black feminist movement then? And to counter that, because it dealt with the sectionality that, right, racism and sexism that the white women wasn't giving y'all. You know what I'm saying?
But what does that have to do? Like, why are you saying that as if it has to do with the movement itself?
Because when I brought up Alice Walker and her womanism, that was to show you that our traditional models were more based off of her womanism, right? That incorporated both men and women. It didn't leave
that
one.
Wasn't the debate. The debate wasn't if we had better systems. That wasn't
the debate. No, those were points that I brought up just to counter anything that you might do. So I
Right,
knew
but
that
that
you.
doesn't counter anything. What it does is actually change the topic into if my aunt needed feminism. And that's not the topic. The topic is feminism.
Mhm,
And if you can, like I showed feminist movements happening in Egypt, I showed feminist movement happening in Ethiopia, I showed
mhm.
feminist women talking about feminism in France, all before white women even became a white woman. like, like these things, like it wasn't even white women didn't even exist when they were talking about these feminist movements. But the problem is that because the word itself, because I feel like that's what you're stuck on, and a lot of other people that I've been having this argument with, y'all are stuck on the word feminism and not recognizing the action.
Have you had the conversation since our debate?
Hmm?
Have you had this conversation since our debate?
Yeah, in the comments section, I think I had a conversation with somebody recently who
Mhm,
also took the same stance as you, like, and not even the
mhm.
same stance. They recognize that I brought out feminist movements before white women, but then they don't recognize how white women didn't start it. Like it's just a cognitive dissonance.
Mm. So I definitely enjoyed the debate. I think it was one of the better debates for real. To be quite honest, we need to bring some attention to it. I got a little platform. I think I got like 5 or 6 subscribers. I'm gonna post it on my channel and try to boost my little channel up. Might as well. You have a
As you
channel?
should. Yeah, but it's not called It's the Queen. It's called Zula Concepts. But
Okay.
yeah, I am gonna post it on mine. I have a couple of other of my debates up there as well.
Mm-hmm. So wait. So you bomb squad?
Am
You
I
official
bomb
bomb?
squad? Nah,
Yeah.
that's for the brothers. Those is my brothers though. My sweet brother
Okay. For
Numsies.
sure.
Yes, those
But
those those is there.
for sure. For sure. I'm flexible. I'm flexible. Yeah. Yeah. But I ain't no shit. We seen what y'all was on. Happy time to kill. So I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna jump
I'm
off.
thinking about doing a presentation based on it because it's a lot of confusion around the whole movement itself because we kind of
We
stay
should.
away from that topic.
We should. We should because I'm tired of a lot of the same topics,
I have
religious topics that we
five.
have in the
No,
community.
I just missed two. Three. Oh, and Nadia, four. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm finna jump off A1. I'll probably jump back on in a little bit. We still up and running.
Everything all right? What happened? They got real quiet.
Yeah, no, I think they dog. You got another show you about to do, A1?
What time is it? Oh yeah, I do got another show.
I just got a notification, that's all. I was
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. I got women's tournament. We got the first face off, Megan versus April. Let me go ahead and run that ad. We got It's a Queen up here. She is also in that tournament. Be scheduling your face off after we do this one. I think I'm gonna do at least one a week. We're gonna space it out. It's about to be fun. Let me see. Where are my ads? I'm lost. I'm on my tablet. I don't know where all this stuff at on here. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coliseum of Arguments. 8 women step into the arena, not to play games, but to wage intellectual combat. This isn't trash talk. This is logic versus logic, sources versus sources, scholarship under the lights. Win a round, win $50 cash. Keep winning and walk out with $500 in the crown. Each competitor represents a brand, an ideology, a team they're ready to go to war on the hill for. Every claim challenged, every source checked, every moment judged. So we ask you, are you not entertained? Enter the Coliseum of Arguments. Only the strongest minds survive. This is Titans Debate League.
Yep, we will be back in about 15 minutes with that. Y'all want to do closing remarks?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna jump on down. I'll be ready for the next one, man. Yes,
All right.
I'll see you there.
You'll be there? See you in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm gonna be a little preoccupied, but you know, I'm always down to support.
Appreciate you. I'll see you shortly.
See you in a little bit.
Peace, y'all. Remember my smile. Remember my motto. Treat your smile like your buddy and never let them steal it. Peace.